about how we've come to expect these LMU Queens games too, back and forth, back and forth. Beat a team led by more than 8. They just kind of make that last run and nose ahead, and then you can't make that last little push. So how do you kind of dissect tonight's loss?
Yeah, certainly really proud of our guys' effort. That's what I told them in the post game. I thought we competed well. I thought for the most part we played pretty well. We obviously shot it terribly, and shot making comes and goes. You can't live on that. That's where you got to be so sound in taking care of the ball and your defensive rebounding and your transition D. And I thought we got up 59-54, and they had, I think it was about 10 minutes to go, and there's about a 3-minute spurt there where our transition defense was pretty poor, and we got stagnant offensively, kind of got stuck in mud, took some contested shots over defense, and it just takes a few possessions against a really good team, and Queens is a really good team, and we just didn't win enough possessions. I thought we got it back, and it's 72-68. I think we had, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 looks, in that stretch to kind of rally back, and a couple of them were pretty good looks, wide open looks for good shooters, and they didn't go down. But again, it goes back to, you can't hang your hat on that. You gotta do all the other stuff, and we just had too many possessions over the course of the game where we were unsound, either in transition or, made a mistake defensively. 13 turnovers, not terrible, but could have been better, particularly early in the game. I thought we were a little bit hyped up and the ball was going everywhere. We had some where we created turnovers, and then we turned it over, either running somebody over or trying to squeeze a pass in there. So again, it's we just weren't quite sound enough, and against an excellent team.
Another game is kind of like the Carson Newman game where you just couldn't buy a bucket down the stretch there. What are you telling your team after this one too to kind of keep their confidence level high after those finishes?
It's I know it's overly simplistic, but sometimes it comes down to making missing shots. We just Carson Newman game, I thought we took a lot tougher shots than tonight. I thought tonight, we down the stretch, for the most part, maintained our poise and generated open looks. They just didn't go in. But it's an accumulation. Again, a final score is of the entire 40 minutes. And so we had stretches and possessions here and there where, turned it over, took a bad shot early. You can't do that and have those type of possessions offensively. And then a couple times, like I said, defensive transition, mistake on the glass, maybe improper help, not being tight in our gap. There was things over the course of the game that we had some just enough possessions where we weren't on and locked in and doing the right things. We weren't right in those possessions, and too many on a night where you go 8 for 36 from the 3-point line, and Queens goes 12 for 24. The 2 games we've played them, I think they're I think 24 for 44 from 3. They've shot it tremendously, and I think we were 6 for 27 there, and then 8 for 37 the night. So we're 14 for 64 in the 2 games, and but there's a big difference in what happened in Charlotte, what happened tonight, and the way we competed. We played through that stuff. I thought we did a lot of good things. Had the 6-point lead late in the half. Carr hits a tougher 3 off kind of maybe a bump, and then he banks the one in there to send it to halftime. So kind of similar to what he did down in Charlotte, and he was I thought both games. I know Willett is probably the I would say the guy, maybe he's in contention for National Player of the Year, and I think would be, like I said, consensus Player of the Year in the league. But the 2 games against us, Daniel Carr has been the best player on the floor both times. So just credit them, veteran team, in terms of those guys, particularly those 3 that have, played in the Final Four last year, were huge pieces for them last year. When you look at Carr, Willett, Diankalu, those 3 guys, have been through it. They understand it. And our guys are learning. They're learning hard lessons. But like I told them in there, this league is unrelenting. We'll feel sorry for ourselves maybe till tomorrow, and then we come back to work on Monday. We got to get ready for Anderson, and we got a great Anderson team coming in here Wednesday night. Then we got to go to Wingate. So I mean, there can't be any poor me's for sure.
You got to be proud of the team's defensive effort. One of the best, most efficient offensive teams in the nation comes in here, and you hold them to 40% shooting. Obviously, they got loose from three a little bit, had a good night from three, but you also hold Sean Willett to 11 points. So what did you think about your team's defensive effort tonight?
I thought we competed. I thought, I don't conflate, shooting well and playing well. I think they're different. I think you can play really well and shoot poorly. I think you can play poorly and shoot well and compensate. Obviously, you always want to make shots. But when I look at tonight, I thought, again, there was enough possessions. If you go through the entire game, certainly enough possessions where we had breakdowns and we weren't, in the right spots. And like I said, our defense was not getting five guys below the ball. We were messing around with rebounds or out of position or didn't have floor balance. And that allowed them, again, in that stretch, 2 threes and 2 layups. And that little 10-0 push was really wound up being the separator in the game. But in terms of overall for the 40 minutes, I thought we guarded them really well. Our issues, you look at this game, wasn't on the defensive end. They're a team that averages 88, and I think they were at, 72 with a minute to go. It was just too many. We obviously got some good looks, didn't make them, and then maybe too many possessions where we took some questionable shots. And again, you can't settle or bail them out. They're too good. They don't need any help. And we just had to be a little bit better on both ends, a little more sound on both ends. But you can look at it, with this team as young as we are, where we were in November, where we were December 8th in Charlotte, where we are, on February 2nd. I told these guys the key is probably not the league in terms of the regular season, but everything else that you would have as a goal is in play. NCAA at-large bid, conference tournament championship, getting into the NCAA tournament and trying to see if you can make a run. All that is in play, but we got to go out and we got to have success in these last 8 games. We got to turn the page. It's been a difficult week. We had opportunities to win both these games. And obviously, we're able to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory at Carson Newman. And then tonight, just came up a little bit short there at the end. But, I think these guys are resilient. I think we got good kids in the locker room. And I think they'll respond appropriately, and we'll come back to work Monday. I think they're certainly disappointed. That's good. It should hurt to lose. But I don't think they're discouraged or deterred. I think they're just frustrated. Obviously coming up short and feel like they could have done a little more here and there. And we know we can, and we're going to have to. That line in these games is high, and we've got to somehow find a way to hit it. And both teams, when you look at this week, Carson Newman and Queens, timely shots, and every time we had a breakdown, we got punished for it. Newman goes 14 for 29 from 3, and then we held them to, I think, in the high 30s from the field, but they, it's hard to go 14 for 29 in a gym by yourself. And then same thing with Queens going 12 for 24. So, we got to do a little better job, figure that out. I thought some of our we did a good job contesting some of their threes, but I thought they got enough open ones that where we had, again, breakdowns. And every time it felt like that, they did get a good look. They stuck it.
Coach, thanks for the time and good luck on Wednesday.
Appreciate it, Scotty.